Good evening. I'd like to call the June 24th, 2020 meeting, Long Branch City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Vieira.
Here.
Dr. Vogt.
Here.
Ms. Wittes.
Here.
Dr. Selly.
Here.
And Mr. Dangler.
Here. Can we please recite the Pledge of Allegiance? The Pledge of Allegiance to the flag
The flag
of the United States of
of the
America,
United States of America.
to the republic
For
which it stands,
which it stands,
One nation.
under God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
Thank you. Presentations, we have none. Reading and approval of the previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the June 10th, 2020 meeting. Roll call.
So
moved.
second,
Mr.
in favor?
Vieira.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Dr. Vogt.
yes.
Mrs. Wittes.
Yes.
Dr. Selly.
yes,
And Mr. Dangler.
Yes. Consideration of ordinance, public hearing, and final consideration. This is the second reading of ordinance 20-20 entitled "The City of Long Branch Calendar Year 2020 Model Ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 40A:40-45.14. This ordinance was introduced on June 10th, 2020. I need a motion to open a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? So moved. If any member of the public has a comment to make regarding the ordinance, please dial *9 on your phone. A representative will call you by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When you are called, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Caller whose phone number ends in 198. Go ahead.
Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. Ordinance 2020. I will read a paragraph from it. Whereas the council of the city of Long Branch hereby determines that a 3.5% increase in the budget for said year, amounting to $1,656,354 in excess of the increase in final appropriations otherwise permitted by the local government cap law, is advisable and necessary. Mr. Martin, the question is to you. Understanding due to COVID, the start of a fiscal year would be cloudy, with a budget that lacks clarity on revenue assumptions and the necessary expenditure reductions to compensate. Could you please explain, Mr. Martin, how much of an effect the COVID pandemic has had on the cap bank, particularly this year, and how more justifiable or not is the cap bank this year as opposed to other years because of COVID and expenses incurred?
That's quite a question, Mr. Lepore. It's hard to determine the exact amount of the effect of the COVID because we're currently going through it. We are incurring expenses all the time. Many of the expenses we're incurring are being reimbursed by the CARES Act. I don't know if you're aware, but we have had a successful approval of our first round of expenses from the county. So currently we're being reimbursed near 100% of what we're spending. As far as increase in appropriations due to the COVID, we don't have a considerable amount of appropriations increase due to that specifically. So.
All right. Well, Mr. Martin, the point being, of any of the years we've established a cap bank by ordinance, would you state that this year it would be more necessary than prior years?
Yes.
Being that there are so many undetermined variables out there.
Yes. I think it's equally as important this year as prior years, but yes, the answer to your question is yes, it's important.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Martin.
You're welcome.
Caller whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Ernest McNally, Asbury Park, New Jersey. Could I just get a quick overview again of the comment ordinance or that we're talking about? I may have missed the simplicity explanation of it. That's what I'm saying. And you can do it on my time if you want. Or am I calling on the public participation part?
You're
No,
not
you're-
calling on the public participation part.
Okay, then I don't want to waste time on that. Okay, so I'd like to bring out that I'm still with a lot of people trying to get the money that the city spent. I believe it's around $40,000 on the study of the Asbury Park, rather the Long Branch Police Department, and in particular, Public Safety Director and now Chief
Excuse me.
Roebuck.
Mr. McNolly, respectfully, this is just on the ordinance. This is not the,
Well, that's what I just asked you.
and I said you are not on public participation, sir.
Well, I'm hoping when the next president takes over, he'll speak a little more clearly. So let me go back to the ordinance. So then what is the ordinance? Is it about the cap?
Yes.
Clearly, yes, that's what it's about, sir.
Okay, and clearly and specific, are we talking about a raising of the cap for municipal spending based on the effect of COVID-19 this year and the diminished revenues and the impact next year? So you're looking to raise the cap. Am I correct or not correct?
You're not correct in your specificity of the reason for the cap increase. The reason we do this ordinance every year is to create a cap bank, and that is the primary purpose of this ordinance. We need to adopt one every year in order to keep a cap bank regulated by the state.
So you're saying all municipalities do this?
I can't all municipalities, but I would say most do.
Yes, virtually all of them.
All right, well, okay, good enough. But so the thing is, what kind of cap are you looking for? What percent? Is it atypical or is it typical based on COVID? I mean, you know what I mean?
It's the model ordinance, and it was adopted last year and the year before and the year before that. So it's not changed as a result of COVID. It's always the same. It's the state model ordinance.
I understand. Can I know that has it grown over the previous cap? Or are we like increasing the cap? The amount or just the same amount?
It's the same percentage every year.
It's the same percentage every year. And is that percentage based on income and taxes collected and the financial conditions of the city? And what I'm trying to get at is the essence of this really, how are we going to deal with next year with the impact of what happened this year on every municipality's budget? Because everybody seems to be going along like everything's okay. Not closing any schools, not cutting back any services, not anything. But the revenue base has been pulled out from under everyone. So the way I look at it is you pass a passive cap increase now, and then next year, who will absorb that will be, as usual in Long Branch, the homeowners, not the pilot program and the tax abatement, Billionaire Row, condo owners and Wave Hotel, but all those people on 4th and Broadway and all those people are going to get socked hard for everything as usual, which is causing I don't know if it's the desired or the cause, reflux of people out of the city of Long Branch. I mean, people can't afford it anymore. I mean, I
Mr.
can't afford
McNolly, you
to
have
go.
1 minute, sir.
I mean, I can't afford to go there. It's too expensive for everything. The only thing I can afford is going to my church and lighting candles. Other than that, I can't afford anything in Long Branch. So these meetings sound all great. What you have to realize, let me tell you, from a perception point of view, this mayor and council took over from one that was revered as horrible. And and a lot of, at least people I talk to and the way I feel, you're not only the same, in some ways you're worse. I mean, the deals that you make with groups for votes and money and accommodations and who you give this tax abatement to versus not giving it to somebody else. And then the pool thing, for you to say it's not really racially motivated. I mean, who wants to put a pool in a swamp? I mean, I don't know I hope you didn't get away with that. And I think that pool belongs right on Ocean Boulevard, right next to that developer's condos that you agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. McNolly, for your comments.
I don't care.
We have no other callers, sir.
I need a motion to close the public portion of the meet of,
So moved. Second.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This is the third reading of ordinance 2020 entitled the City of Long Branch. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. I skipped. Give me 1 second, please. Thank you.
You're right.
That's
Mhm.
right, Council President. It's a third and reading,
Yes, this is
and
the
final
third,
reading.
okay. This is the third and final reading, 2020 entitled City of Long Branch Calendar Year 2020 Model Ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank, NJSA 40A:4-45.14, introduced June 10th, 2020. I need a motion to adopt this on the third and final reading, advertised according to law.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Viera,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes,
and Mr. Dangler.
Yes. Ordinance for introduction, we have none. Public portion and public portion for resolution and all general comments. I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? If there are any members of the public who has a comment to make, please dial *9 on your phone. The representative will call you by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When you are called, please state your name and address clearly for the record. You will be given 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Caller whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead.
Ernest McNolly, Asbury Park, New Jersey. So, very interested in the, I believe, $40,000 that the city of Long Branch put out to do a study of the Long Branch Police Department, and a lot of it should have been centered or was centered on the then public safety director and now the police chief Roebuck. So the question is, where is that report, or is it going to wind up like the attorney general who steps in and says, well, you can't have the Seidel 700-page IA file when he's already in prison. So why can't we see why the prosecutor rearmed him or why Neptune Police rearmed him? Because that's what's in the files, and that's what we want. And the more you look at the way the attorney general is acting in New Jersey, specifically in Asbury, Long Branch, and Neptune, I mean, it's like you've joined powers to cover everything up. I mean, police can do anything in these 3 municipalities. The second, Asbury Park, most dangerous place in the state. Neptune, the 15th most dangerous. And Long Branch, the 25th most dangerous. Now, I like to see all the accolades you're always giving yourself. Awards, plaques. Roebuck rides down Broadway on a chariot. Rah! I came, I saw, I conquered. No, you didn't, Roebuck. This city is still dangerous, murderous, police violence, excessive force, corruption. I mean, just name some names. You got a guy driving around that murdered a woman named Pascucci. He was a Monmouth County prosecutor detective, Long Branch detective. Roebuck brought him here from Oceanport. He's been a drunk his whole life. He ran over and murdered and killed a state trooper's aunt, the corner of Broadway and Ocean Boulevard. And no one on that dais up there is looking to care anything about the family. All you care about is the lawsuit, okay? You're being sued for everything that these cops and firemen do. Look at it. I mean, now you got the King case, the King children, right? Of all places, in Jack's Bar at a police promotion ceremony where a manslaughter, knife fighting, excessive force cop, Joyce Jr., a consummate drunken criminal, right, tries to hand rape a police daughter. And what do? You get him a taxi home, you send him off to Florida, and he doesn't even get arrested or anything. You know something? You all should be exposed in the country for all the cover-ups for the police and firemen. They're out of control. They show up at police jobs and fire jobs drunk. They got these clubs with it, drunk, drug, women, high stakes gambling. And what do? Nothing. You cover it up. And you know, Mayor Pallone, look around you. It's all the people that you've allowed. You have more people against you in your administration. Every fireman is against you. The police are against you. The prosecutors against you. The sheriff's against you. The freeholders are against you. Everybody's against you. Why wouldn't you do what you were hired and elected to do? Surround yourself with people who represent everybody everywhere in Long Branch. Not you signed on and you've done the same thing, only worse. And the only good thing you did was fire Ansel Gramarin. But I don't know how good it is because now you brought on a lightweight. And this guy doesn't want to tackle anything. Oh, no, we can't go against that master development plan and all that Operation Bid Rig stuff. Oh, no, we signed a contract. So what? It was all fraudulent. Get a backbone.
Oh, you have 1 minute, sir.
Get a backbone and start going after all this crime, corruption, and nepotism in Long Branch. I mean, look at the stuff you do. You run people over on the beach with a tractor and you don't tell anybody. You cover everything up. Everything. Cover up. Cover up. You put in internal affairs captain who is as close to Schneider as you can get. This Bard, right? And what does Bard do? He allows cops in Long Branch to have kids, their kids, underage, at drunken parties in houses with families, giving them liquor, and they're doing drugs, and it just keeps getting covered up and covered up. Knife fights by cop, Walker getting his nose cut off, Hayes Jr. stealing from the Emmys, doing 2 years in prison, you know? The other guy burning up children. I mean, what else can go wrong in the West End 6? And now look at Joyce. He's getting all those contracts. He's going to be a millionaire.
Thank you,
Look what you're
Mr.
doing.
Nolan, for your comments.
Caller whose phone number ends in 711. Go ahead.
Yes, my name is Lori Dalton, 455 Atlantic Avenue. I would just like an update on the pool timeline given the CAFR approval.
I believe that, I'm not sure that I have an update. The CAFR approval came in on Friday, but I believe that the engineer has already begun to work with the developers, engineering and construction people. And so I probably at the next meeting, I'll have a clear timeline as to what it is. I don't have one now, though.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Caller whose phone number ends in 198. Go ahead.
Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. Madam Clerk, requesting 1 minute notification. Tonight's agenda, Resolution 11720, putting Mr. Vieira as council president. Emphatically, I'm requesting a no vote. In fact, no one on this council is qualified to be president, no less be on the council. Many are now looking forward to your resignations. Vieira, along with the rest of you, betrayed the public trust in profoundly lying and backstabbing to the electorate as a member of Team Pallone with campaigning no tax abatements. And then when you took office, you turned around and awarded 2 long-term tax abatements. One, a 30-year tax abatement for Kushner on Broadway. Yes, Team Pallone and Kushner, perfect together. The second one, a 10-year tax abatement on Ocean Cooper. But you, Vieira, you also got caught lying about your involvement with construction plans for the House of Worship in the West End. And Vieira, you got caught good. Again, no vote, 117-20. The council, you'll appoint them because birds of the same backstabbing, lying feathers flock together. It's junk government. Mr. Martin, what are the most current tax collection percentage numbers from the second quarter of 2020?
I don't have that information in front of me. I'll have to research it.
Mr. Martin, will there be any COVID-related bonding by Long Branch in 2020?
I can't say yes or no definitively to that, but at this point in time, we have no plans on doing that.
Mr. Martin, on sheet 40D of the budget, which details the city's 6-year capital plan for budget year 20 through 2025, and is titled Summary of Anticipated Funding Sources and Amounts, the 6-year plan identifies 5 future capital projects that will require $3,553,000 in funding. Approximately 84% of that amount, $3 million, is anticipated to be raised through a combination of notes and long-term bonds. Mr. Martin, because the schedule for funding amounts per budget year is found on sheet 40C was left blank, could you please say when the city anticipates issuing these notes and bonds?
Probably will issue notes in the next for these projects.
When, sir?
In the next calendar
When?
year. The ordinance.
Next calendar year. I thank you, Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin, one additional question concerning sheet 40D. Under the funding of anticipated funding sources and amounts, the schedule of funding sources does not indicate that any state aid was awarded to the city to help offset either the planned roadway improvements and planned streetscape improvements, which combined cost approximately $3.1 million. And yet, in tonight's agenda, there are 3 resolutions to seek offsetting aid for the road improvements. Why didn't the city apply for these grants earlier in the 2020 budgeting process so that if the requests were approved, they could have made it into the 2020 budget and given the taxpayers some relief?
The state sets the timeline for the application process.
The application timeline. I'm
Ms.
concerned about the section
1 minute,
20.
sir.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'm concerned about the section 20 professional fees on this one. And on a Oprah I put in on June 18th, you responded that depending on the tax rate equals an estimated $508,543. There's the penny right there with these projects. So I've got concerns about that. Mr. Martin, referencing sheet 3, the fact that only $30 million was adopted in ratables implies basically that's what's been constructed on the ocean front isn't contributing much in the calendar year 2019. Would you agree to that? Keeping in mind there's only been 2 closings, and that's in 2020. One closing, 20 Melrose Pier Village 3, and the other 365 Ocean. Would you agree that in the 2019 calendar year, the oceanfront construction has not contributed much?
The projects aren't complete yet. When they're complete, that's when they're assessed. That's when they hit the books for taxation.
Mr. Laporte, thank you for.
But for fiscal 2019, they haven't contributed. Is that correct?
Projects weren't complete.
then we're complete. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
And we have no other callers.
Thank you. I need a motion to close the public portion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. On the resolutions, we could take the list of resolutions as a consent agenda. I need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Viera,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
and Mr. Dangler.
Yes. Applications, we have none. Miscellaneous business for the good of the order. Councilman Vieira.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, and thanks for attending our meeting tonight. I want to wish everybody a happy 4th. And this year, we're going to have no fireworks. So if you're going to do any fireworks, just keep it to the legal ones. And so keep it to the professionals. And so that's all I have to say tonight. Thank you.
Councilwoman Vogt.
Thank you, Council President. I would also like to thank the Council President for something else, and that is the Council President and the Mayor and Reverend Devereaux for resurrecting the think tank. We all know the racial issues and questions and challenges that we're dealing with right now. And thanks to the leadership of those 3 people that I just mentioned, the think tank held a meeting today that I thought was just spectacular in terms of our guest speaker. The speaker was Dr. Broder, Council President, the name.
Reverend Dr. Boyer.
Boyer.
Yes.
Just gave an excellent analysis of how we can rethink the police force and some of the guidelines that we use and how we create conversations to make some real meaningful change in our community. His presentation was excellent, and I think it was a really great start to hopefully continued discussions, leadership, accountability, and action on this whole topic. So my thanks to the 3 of you for making that happen. And also my thanks to Council President Billy Dangler for your leadership this past year. And best wishes to Councilman Mario Vieira as he takes over next year. And thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wittes.
Good evening. I too would like to thank Councilman Bill Dangler for your presidency and serving us this year. It's not easy being president, but it's certainly not easy during these trying times that we've been going through. You've done a great job. And I know it's your birthday on Monday, and I want to say happy birthday to you. I wish you much happiness next year and health. And I would also like to wish Councilman Mary Vieira best of luck during this year as president. And, you know, it's going to be difficult as well, but I know you can do it as well. Thank you. And I was informed this morning that the dining this weekend went very, very well. So I'd like to thank all those involved in organizing it through the city and the businesses. And hopefully this will help our businesses, you know, local businesses to, you know, maintain some income during this time. And I also want to thank everyone, you know, for listening and watching this evening. And please continue to be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Selly.
Good evening, everybody. I too would like to thank. He's done a great job as our leader. And Bill, I thank you. It was under stressful times. And you stood up and you did a great job. And I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I also wish you a happy birthday. And then my last item is I'd like to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. Stay safe and please stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pallone.
I'd like to thank everybody for calling in this evening. Appreciate it. I'd like to thank the organizer of the Juneteenth celebration walk that was held this past Friday. We hope to see this continue in Long Branch for years to come, and you have our full support. I would also like to thank Councilman Bill Dangler for serving this year as president. You did a great job. We appreciate everything that you did and done for the city in the past year. And I want to welcome and thank our new council president, Mario Vieira. We look forward to another great year serving the city of Long. And also thank you also to all the restaurants and patrons of the restaurants who've utilized the outside dining this past week. It was very successful. And we look forward to businesses of the city of Long Branch making a comeback. And we want to remind our business community that we're here to help. So please don't hesitate to reach out at any time. And with that, I'd like to wish everybody a happy 4th. And again, thank you for calling in today.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to thank the mayor and council for all the kind words. This year was tough for all of us, not just me as president. It's just difficult. You still have to try and run the city, try and run it professionally, and do the best job that we can. And I believe that we did that. And I know I'm going to wish my younger brother from another mother, Mario Vieira. I know he'll do well. And one of the callers said, I hope he does better. Well, if he does better, then we are not a jealous team. And if he does better, I will be happy for him. And if Anita does better than he does, we'll be happy for her. So good luck, Mario. I know you will do well. We will still be here for you, just like you guys were here for me and bared with the mistakes that I may have made. The Long Branch, it's not just a cliche. We are Long Branch strong. We will stick together and move forward. I also would like to, again, thank the cities. I mean, the council for this opportunity. Anita, I meant to call you earlier, but since we brought up the think tank and the great meeting that we had today, unless something's changed, you take great notes. So if you could pass some of those notes on so we could follow up and move forward, just to let the community know that we are interested in making some positive change here in Long Branch in regards to the police, community relations, and so on. Unity Day, Juneteenth, as the mayor said, was greatly organized. Again, the millennials did a wonderful job. It wasn't too hot. It was hot enough during the walk, but it wasn't too hot, and it was very well done, and I appreciate what they did do. And Unity Day the next day at the high school was just as well done with all of those graduates from Long Branch. Anybody who walked the halls of Long Branch were out there and played sports. And it was just about remembering who we are in Long Branch. We set an example with our George Floyd protests and the changes we needed to make. We set another example about unity and what Long Branch is all about. So again, I thank you. Please all be safe. The fireworks that you're not supposed to have, be safe if you choose to light them up and let them go. Just please make sure that you're safe and there's no children around and no one gets hurt. And I thank you and God bless you all.
You got to adjourn the meeting.
I do? Oh, one other thing. One other thing to my friends here. August 1st, I'm retiring.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
So you won't hear me say anymore, we cannot have meetings at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for the rest of this particular term. I know you guys have heard it several times. Yes, August 1st, I will be retiring after 32 years with the county. So
Wow,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Just call me. Not too early, John, but you call me anytime. Anyway, I need a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you all and good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.